What's good? This is Marcus the Fingaz back with another video. In this video, we're going to talk all about the abandoned horror sample pack from Grant Borland and Jake Dijak. I think I said your name right. I might have butchered your last name, Jake, but apologies. This is a great horror sample pack that these two incredible composers who have been composing music for movie trailers for years, composing music for different projects and things for years, have collaborated on this abandoned horror sample pack. We're going to dive in on the sounds. Before we do that, go to defingers.com/free plugins. Check out my free plugins gear guide for free plugins that you can use in your music productions. So let's get into it. What do we have here? We have 12 different categories of sounds. I'm going to play through the demo that I created after we go through the sounds, and I'm going to show you how I use some of these sounds to put my demo together. Before we get into that, let's go through some of the sounds. So we're going to start with some of the bass sounds. Again, I'm not going to play all the loops. You have to buy the full sample pack. I will include a link in one of these corners and also in the description where you can buy the sample pack. Let's dive in. This is bass bow. Already dialing in that horror sound, perfect for this month here. Bone crack, bone break. Also sounds like, could be like, if you layer it, could be like fireplace. A good way to think about these is also when you're going through the sounds, close your eyes and imagine what you're hearing when you're playing those sounds. Really great sound design stuff. That was cello design. Here is some cigar box guitar. We have some downers. Some drones. Some hits. Some piano designed. Risers. Signature sounds. Really great sounds there. That was some swells and sweeps, and finally we have ticks. Yeah, so those are just some sounds from the 12 categories. Again, some great sounds in there, and I will include a link where you can purchase these. Let's get into the demo I created. I'm going to show you, I'm going to play back the full demo, and then I'm going to go through each of these different layers. These are made up of different sounds, and I just categorized them into different stems here, and we'll go through those one by one. But here is the full demo right here. Yeah, really scary vibes. We're gonna dive in each layer by layer. I'm not gonna play them from when the sounds come in. I'm just gonna go layer by layer. So we're gonna start with the hits and percussion here. So what I have here is one, two, what is it, four different hits things layered. The earliest one here is this Knox from the Abandoned Knocker doing this. almost sounds like a clock thing. I think I have some, I actually don't even have any effects going on. That's the built-in effects in the sounds there. I thought I had some delay and reverb going on there, but I don't think I do. It's just all built in, so that's kind of cool. Then next I have this abandoned metal hit coming in later in the track. Almost at what I would call sort of like the act two. If you think of this as a more trailer type track, it's not really a traditional trailer, but more horror trailer. I have a little bit of the 3 acts going on. It's a little bit faster. It's not exactly 2 minutes and a half. I don't think it is, but yeah, I try to do that little 3 act structure with these sounds here. But here is what I have, I think, in the act 2 part. And it almost serves like a whoosh hit. That one's a little lower. You see, I have the hit at the beginning kind of loud, then it's a little lower, then a little louder, and a little louder there. So those 4 come in. And then at the end, I have some other hits coming in from this abandoned metal hit 1. This is metal hit 4, the last one I played, and this is number 1 in the act 3. And as you can see, I have the hits sort of condensed as we end out the track. The hits come in more and more, and I think they get a little bit louder also. And here's how they play at the end. So yeah, that adds some more scary stuff to it. And then last but not least, at the very end, we have this sub hit coming in, sort of like as a footnote to the whole song. So that is all we have in the hits and percussion. Not a lot going on, which is actually deceptively kind of, cool. Deceptively, it sounds like a lot's going on, but really it's not a lot going on there. It's only 4 percussion sounds when you think about it. Next, we have TikToks, which are more like clocks. I think I have, 2 of those going on. One of them is like the abandoned metal hits, but I think I played it like a clock, so we'll get to that shortly. But the first one here is just a loop that I dragged in, and that sounds like this. And I actually have some effects going on there. I have Space Designer. I have a custom thing. I got to do a whole nother video on this where I brought in some, I believe this is a Bricasti reverb sound, Sanders Hall. There's some great Bricasti and BG Lexicon reverbs that you can bring into Logic Pro for free at no charge. Not cracked or anything, but I have that going, and I'll do a whole nother video on that. I have that going with this tick sound, adding some reverb or delay there, and then I also have step effects, adding some effects using, I think this is just a random reverb mix setting here with step effects here in Logic Pro. The gated reverse verb. I might have changed a few settings here. Here's how it sounds without these step effects. And here's how it sounds with the step effects. So it's almost, it's still in tempo, but it almost has a little bit of hesitation there going on. And then at the end of the track here, we have this abandoned metal hit, but I played it like a clock. So you see it coming in on the 8th notes, I believe, here. So let's play that. Actually, they're coming in on the quarter notes. And all I did for that was I dragged the sample, the actual abandoned metal hit 4, into Logic's sampler and just played the notes on the keyboard to trigger those in like that and quantized in more, got them right in time with the quarter notes. So at the end, you have that layered with the ticks doing this. And then that's everything with the drums. Next, we have risers and downers. These are not traditional risers and downers. These are risers and downers from the pack that are mostly centered around string sort of risers and downers. And I have a couple of those going on, but they are throughout the track. We're going to start with the first one here, which is this string chaos riser 1. And as you can see, I have that going a little bit to that reverb there. And then we also have the abandoned dark swell 1. And then below that, we have the cello tremolo riser. And they sound scary as is, but when they layered with all these other sounds, they also sound great. Next, we have this cello effects going on, and this actually builds into 2 or 3 risers. And what I did with this one, I believe I took a riser and I reversed it to make it sound like a downer. So I took this string chaos riser 2 and I reversed it to make it sound like a downer. So you can see the waveform is actually it's up here where the waveform is reversed. Up here on this track where I have rev, and then down here, this is actually the regular track. But I have that mislabeled there. There we go. So this is the regular, but I reversed it to have sort of a reversing, and the sounds are sort of cross-fading into each other. So this is what that whole thing sounds like. And then that with all the other stuff going on. Layered under that, you hear this dark swell coming in at the end. Just adding more of that darkness to it. Those are our risers and downers. Next, we have piano. I really had fun with this one. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what I did with this MIDI last because that was really fun. And we're going to go start with the brushes here. This is just adding more effects. So this isn't like traditional piano. This is adding some sort of sound effects, sound design. I really could have put that under there with like the hits of percussion, but because it is piano sound, I just layered it on the piano. Then we also have clicks coming in along with this mallet long thing happening. So more clicks there. You have that low note. And as you can tell, you see that +3, that means I pitched it. And then I took that same piano note and I added some ring shift here in Logic Pro just to add a little bit more effects to it. And then I took the Cymatics Pluto plugin to add some like lo-fi type effects going on there to just alter the effect a little bit. But I took the piano sound, just tweaked it a little bit for some effects. I probably could have made it a little bit wider. I did have some Space Designer again going there from the piano sounds, but this is the piano long, that mallet, the same note, just added some effects there. And I, of course, transposed it up 3 semitones to match the key of the song and the tones that I wanted. And then that same thing comes back at the end. So we're going to skip that part. We're going to go back to this first track. What I really like about this one is there's a free plugin that you can use called Drop Designer from Skybox. Skyboxes are also our friends who make Hammers and Waves, which is another great plugin. With Skybox, it is, with Drop Designer, it is a free plugin that you can use. Well, at least it was free. I don't know if it's still free, but it's a free plugin that you can use to drag in samples, and then you can play them as keys, and you can add some effects and things. So what I did was I took that piano sample into this. As you can see, I took the abandoned mallet long cluster 4, dragged it into here. I adjusted the playback a little bit so it didn't end all the way out here. I brought the ending back. I brought the start of the sample up to right where the hit was, and then I adjusted, I think, a little bit of the ADSR, but really what I did was I added this reverse knob here, and I added some of this dirt swirl. There's a bunch of presets in here for effects and things. You can widen it, you can add subs, you can do so much with it. This isn't a Drop Designer review. I got to do a whole other video on reviewing this, but this is what it sounds like when I did all of that with that piano sound, and I use it, I believe, more like a riser going into the third act. And if you notice when I was playing it back, it actually played it in reverse here also. So you can see the waveform playing in reverse. I'll play that one more time. And that's layered with some of the other risers. Let me layer that with the risers we have going on here. Let me turn off playback. All right, here we go. So yeah, a lot of it is sound design. So I have that piano. I believe that starts ending as more the string stuff comes in, and then you see the tick-tocks and percussions coming in up there. But yeah, so it's really just sound design, layering different sounds, just really to your heart's content, to make it sound eerie, scary. It might not make musical sense, but when you're doing the horror type things, the less sort of musical it sounds, the more eerie and scary it is. So perfect for this month. Next, we're going to go to the Brahms sounds. I think I used 2 of them here, and you see those waveforms here. We're going to start with the Impacts Abandoned Conduit. Again, I have them coming in at certain points. When I drag the files in here in Logic, what's a cheat code is to use this anchor knob or this anchor option here. So when you drag a file in, you go to double click on the track to open up the waveform, go to File, and then you can go to Anchor down here and you can drag the anchor. So I usually drag it to where the impact is. Sometimes if it's a riser, I might drag it to the end so that the riser ends and hits at the final tempo. And then what you can do is when you move the track around, this is at bar 18, it will align up to the bar. So I won't move that. So that I moved it to exactly 17, but where it's lined up is where the impact is, where that anchor is. So that anchor is like the anchor in the file. Hard to explain, but that's what it's doing. It sounds great. Actually, I'm going to go to undo. All right, cool. So anchor cheat code, use that and do what you will with that. I'm going to play this Abandoned Conduit track. Again, really sound design. You have like a little scream mech in the background and also the impact. I treated that like a Brahms, so I have it layered with the Brahms. And then I also have this bass Brahms layered under that. And that sounds like this by itself. And I have that going to the reverb. I also have that going through a pedal board. So this is in Logic Pro. You can bring in like guitar pedals and things. I just have this big bad bass preset going with that. Here's what it sounds like without that inactive or active. So it sounds pretty, straightforward, pretty clean, I would say, but I wanted to dirty it up a little bit to get that horror vibe. So I added this, just these effects here in the pedal board. This is what it sounds like. Really dirty, really gritty. And of course we have a little bit of the Space Designer reverb going on there. And this is what both of those sound like combined together. And that plays in through that, and I believe it also comes in from that point on through to the end. So those are the ROMs. Next we have drones. I believe I only used one, but it looks like I'm using 2 tracks here, one at the beginning, one at the end, and you see I'm doing a little bit of fun stuff here at the end. We'll talk about that shortly. Let's just play the drone that I'm using at the beginning. This is the abandoned ringworm drone sound. Let's go back here. And I believe I did not have to pitch that, so that is still in that note of D. And then at the end here, this one I had to pitch up 4 semitones to put it in whatever key I ended up putting it in. If it was in C, that means it's in E, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. But maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it would be an E. But I might have I don't know if I layered that with some other sounds that were in D. I don't know if the track actually has sort of a tonal center because it is horror stuff. But let's play the ending here. And you see that I did some chopping at the end. What I did was I chopped it up, I think to add some just some breaks there with the drone. We'll play this whole thing and you'll see how that sounds. Yeah, I think it's really layered under. I don't think you hear it much in the track, but just adds a little bit of break, a little variation. I think when it plays with these hits here, it might sound interesting. Let's play this. So it is really subtle with everything else going on, but it is in there and I really like the way it sounded. And last but not least, we have signatures. We have 3 signatures going on. We're going to start with the alarm war horn going on right here. We'll play this. And I think I use that more as like a signature sound. You hear it looks like a couple times in the track. I don't have it at the end because we dropped to another sound here, which we'll talk about shortly. So the second time it comes in, I have it layered with this bowed bell, and it's doing this. And that's where that sort of scream comes in. I didn't want to keep it playing each time, so I have it drop out the second time in this act 2. And then it comes back for the end of this act here. And then that brings us out to the end. And at the end, I do have that bell holding, but I changed the alarm to this other alarm, which is the Warhorn 12, I believe. Which one was this? Warhorn 3. So let's see if this sounds any different. So the only thing here is I've added this cool plugin, best UI ever, called Greenhouse. I will include a link. Some of these links may be affiliate links. I will include a link where you can check out Greenhouse. Incredible plugin for adding that Haas effect, a little bit of phasing, distortion, distortion, saturation, all kinds of Haas delay and type things. So at the end, I added that to this to the same sound, but I added that to make it a little bit wider, added some more reverb there, and this is what that sounds like. And this is what it sounds like without the Greenhouse. So again, adding some of that fun, phasey stuff going on there. I'll play that again with. So you hear it a little bit of distortion, you hear a little bit of saturation, a little bit of the Greenhouse. Hopefully you hear it. You might not hear it. I like when people say, so you hear this going on in the video, and it's like, I don't hear it, but I hear it. So that is everything in the signatures. I believe actually, and then we have the metals, which was that sort of scream howl thing. It does come in at the end to add that horror vibe, horror sounds. Shout out to Jake Dijak, shout out to Grant Borland for providing these sounds at no charge for me to create this demo for the project. I will include it. I am working on a horror trailer album that I have to get out this week because the month is almost over, so I have 1 week to get it out. Horror trailer EP I'm working on, or the volume 2 of my horror trailer project. I had the volume 1 that I released earlier this year. I'm going to release this week sometime, so stay tuned. This will be on that album as well. I'm going to play back this track in full, and I will include a link again where you can purchase these. Before I play it back, go to defingaz.com/free plugins, defingaz.com/free plugins. Check out my free plugins gear guide for free plugins that you can use in your music productions and musical works. I'm going to play it back. Be safe and be well, everyone. All right. Peace.